Rev up your engines! Chevy Cruze. So, what's the truth about him? Well, I'm going to show you with this 2018, and then you'll know what's real, what isn't real. Now, if you know anything about history, Chevrolet has a history of making very crappy small cars. The Vega, right? Well, they decided they're going to make a four-door with these Cruzes, and they sold quite a few of them over time. Now, it's four-door. It's got actual room in it. And if you drive it conservatively like this owner does, he loaded it up when he went to school. He got 37 miles a gallon, going 80 miles an hour, he said. So they do get phenomenal gas mileage. Now, truth be told, to this one, he does say he babies it. Because I had a customer with one, his was a 2009, a lot older than this, and he went through 3 automatic transmissions. They replaced 3 of them free. He got $2,500 back from GM, but when the 4th one finally was going out, it was out of warranty and he got rid of the car. He had a Mickey Mouse sticker on the back. I said, what's that about? He says, I'm telling everybody, this is a Mickey Mouse car. It was too complex to figure out. I told him he should have put, this is a Mickey Mouse car under it, and then people would have known better. But now this guy, the ECM went bad under warranty. They had to replace it 3 times before it was fixed. They said they replaced it, and then again, and then again. Who knows what they actually did, but after the 3rd time, it was fixed, and he took him to court. He got $4,500 from GM, and the lawyer got $2,000. So at least he got some money on it. But I do have to say, we look under the hood, the little turbocharged Ecotec engine is still running good. It doesn't burn any oil, and this transmission's still shifting good. It certainly gets good gas mileage. Strangely enough, he still got the snow tires up from going to school, State University of New York system, and he said it doesn't really even affect the gas mileage negatively. It's getting him phenomenal gas mileage. So we'll get inside. Decent looking inside. Now it's got 64,920 miles. Starts right up. You can turn the traction control off if you want. It's got a decent interior. It's got really large back seats. I'll give that to them. There's room in this thing. And the engine's still humming along. They'll have a little bit of shake to them, you know. I mean, they're tiny little engines, right? There's not that much to them. They're 1.4 liter. That's why they got the turbochargers on them. They wouldn't get out of their own way if they didn't have that turbocharger. It puts out 153 horsepower. With that turbo, it's got decent acceleration. The decent looking cars. Let's check the trunk. And as you can see, it's got a gigantic trunk. You can fit a lot of stuff in this. They didn't design them all that badly. This isn't like those old tiny little clunkers with no room at all. It's actually a pretty voluminous trunk, and the back seat has room for a small car. Really, they're not all that bad. That's how they sold so many. Now, the reason I can figure this owner is relatively happy with the car is because he's very young. He just graduated from college, and he wanted to protect his investment. So he took care of the thing. He changed the oil, and he kind of babied it. So it's still in excellent shape. Now, if you take the average American, they don't do anything to their cars. You're lucky if they ever even change the oil. If you're like that, a car like this, you're not going to be happy with whatsoever. Now, the earlier ones, yeah, they had absolutely horrendous transmissions that just fell apart in front of your very eyes. Which is sad, but that's becoming the American way too. Well, we didn't like it. They didn't sell that good last year. Let's just get rid of the things. That has a lot to do with SUVs and the American mindset. Everybody these days wants an SUV to fit the kids in and la 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 la, and they're running away from sedans where they make less profit. That's the main thing that's behind them. The same technology that's in these turbo engines and all their other stuff, but they want to make more money selling SUVs, and they're pretty much giving up on sedans. Now, hilariously enough, companies like Toyota and Honda, they're still selling Corollas and Civics like hotcakes. A lot of it had to do with they just couldn't compete with the Japanese quality. Cars that'll go 400,000 or 500,000 miles with very little maintenance versus cars that you got a baby and keep your fingers crossed and hope nothing goes wrong. They couldn't compete in the long run. I met a guy 35 years ago. He was an executive, and he told me, Scotty, we're never going to be able to compete with the Japanese with small cars. Their quality's too good. Ours is too crappy. We don't care about small cars anyways. And he was right. He said that 35 years ago. And the owner just informed me that he changes the oil every 5,000 or 6,000 miles. He's not one of these guys that thinks, oh, I can change it every 10, 12, 15,000 miles. No, he's changing every 5,000, 6,000 miles with full synthetic, and this thing doesn't burn any oil. Like I said, if you don't maintain these things, they're disastrous. He also changed the transmission fluid like 50,000 miles. Smart. They tell him, oh, you don't have to. It's lifetime fluid. Bunch of nonsense. Everything wears out, and always ask them when they say something is lifetime, what's the warranty on it? And they'll say, oh, 50, 60,000 miles, even if it's 80,000 miles. It means nothing to me. I got 240,000 miles on a Celica. I expect them to last. I don't expect them to fall apart when they get 100,000 miles. And this one has done pretty good for him so far. Let's take it for a spin. A modern car, it's not a push start. It has an actual key. And it works. Now for an economy car, the first thing I really notice is it's pretty quiet. Well, of course it's quiet because it just turned the engine off. It's got that start-stop technology, which I can't stand, but you can see it's still working. And guess what? In this car, you can't turn the stop-start off. I guess they were worried that if they turned it off, it wouldn't work again when they turned it back on. That's kind of annoying. Now, you can disable it. He said if you put it in all the gears manually, then when you go through them all, it'll be disabled. But that's kind of a pain in the butt. Here it goes, starting itself again. Now we're on the torture road of Rhode Island. Let's see how it rides. All right. Of course, you're going to feel the bump in this little thing. It's not horrendous. You know, I got my hand off the wheel. It's not flying all over the place. And it's a small car. I mean, I would average it pretty much straight in the middle. It actually does ride better than a Model Y Tesla did, but nowhere near as nice as a Camry or a car that's got a good suspension system, but it's not horrendous. And really, it's got decent handling. I'm kind of shocked by that. It does have pretty good handling. Let's see what this 4-cylinder, 150 plus horsepower engine can do. Ready, set, go! Shifts smoothly, and it's not totally slow. It's totally slow from 0, yes. You can cruise all day long in this thing. It's not like it won't cruise. Now, at the high point of the Cruze, they sold over 270,000 of them in the United States. But the last year, 2019, they only sold like 47,000. Sales just kept plummeting down, which is kind of ironic because they were actually better made than the older ones were. But with people wanting SUVs, they just decided, well, we're not going to make these anymore. And the people in Lordstone, Ohio, well, that was it for making them there. Goodbye, Lordstone, Ohio Cruzes. So now you know a little bit more about the rise and fall of the Chevy Cruze. Maybe you can find a good used one like he did. Just make sure that the engine had the oil changed. Me, if I was buying one of these used, I'd pull all the 4 spark plugs out and I would do a wet and dry compression test. And if you don't know how to do that, pay a guy like me to do that, because if the engine's in good shape and it shifts good, it could still be a good deal. These later ones, rode good, stopped good, got phenomenal gas mileage. It's just faded away because they're 4-door sedans. There's still people out there looking 4-door sedans. You might be able to get one of these cheap. It's got low enough mileage, it's not burning any oil. You can still have fun with it for pretty low dollars. Just make sure you don't buy one from a guy who never changes his oil, or you'll regret the decision really quickly. And here's some bonus questions and answers. Latest Square says, when will used car prices go down? I'm aware they're going high. Is this trend going to continue or will they come back down? I'm assuming they're going to come back down as people get back out and go back to jobs and doing stuff like that. But it's a giant but for one reason. In that, now that we got Sleepy Joe in, we got a real danger of hyperinflation rearing its ugly head in this country. Because if you give money away to people and you're not getting anything to replenish it, hyperinflation will come out. Now, here in Rhode Island, it's already here in our house prices. They've gone bananas. Houses that people bought 6 years ago for 116 are going for $750,000 up now. So hyperinflation real estate around me here, it already exists. It could come about, and sometimes the hyperinflation could last for years. That's the one problem, is that if things get out of hand and hyperinflation rears its ugly head, then yeah, everything's gonna cost more. I mean, let's hope we don't get like the Weimar Republic did, Germany, where people were paying a wheelbarrow full of Reichsmarks to buy a loaf of bread. And the Germans, as crazy as they are, they were actually bringing in wheelbarrows full of money to buy the loaves of bread. Let's hope it doesn't get that far, because hyperinflation could be a nasty thing. You never know if that's going to come. Now, if it doesn't come, the prices should come back down. But there's a real problem of hyperinflation rearing its ugly head when you get people that just give money away and print money, because eventually that means the money isn't going to be worth much, so you're going to need tons of money to buy anything. That's what hyperinflation is about. You can't just keep giving money away and printing more. There's got to be something behind it. You know, it's just the way it works. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.